Did you know that there are certain things that we can do, or certain ways that we can place our shapes on our paintings that are actually shocking to the viewer? Let me show you what I'm talking about. When I say shocking to the viewer might not realize that they're being shocked, but their perception is being challenged. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have 3 examples here. Even though there are almost a dozen of these kinds of things, we in the art world refer to them as tangents. So here's what you need to watch out for. Now, for example, take a shape, any shape, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's use a building, because a building is a good example. So I'll just do a little kind of cartoon version here of a building. Okay, that would be a building that Snuffy Smith might live in, if anybody remembers that as a character. Okay, so cartoon version there of the building. So say I want to place, there's a tree in front of the building. Now, here's when that can become shocking. If you place that tree so that it hides any edge of the building, it could hide this edge or it could hide this edge. So say if we placed a tree here, for example, let's place a tree trunk like this. Just give it a little bit of a, close it in a little bit here, just a little bit more. Now, see what happens there? The tree trunk merges in with the edge of the building, and it makes us feel uncomfortable. What we really need to happen there is for the tree trunk to be moved either inside so that we can see the other, we can see the outside edge of the building, which would be something like this, for example, like that. Now, see, now we feel better, because we can feel that the tree is actually in front of the building instead of merging or growing into the building, which is called a tangent. So that's one thing to watch for. Watch for edges of shapes to be sure that when you place images in front of them, you don't actually make that image merge with that edge. So I call that the hidden edge, where an edge actually gets hidden behind a shape. There's one. Now there's another, and let's just stick with the image of Snuffy Smith's house. We can do that and save some time with having to redraw the little illustration here. So say let's just get that. Now there we go. There's Snuffy Smith's house again. So there's one called a split apex. Now what does that mean? Well, one way to illustrate that for you, let's get that line there a little bit better. You know, we artists do have our egos, don't we? So let's say Snuffy Smith's house has a chimney. All right, so where we place the chimney? Chimney could be here. It could be sticking out the back of the house, and say it's sort of like that, right? Now let's just say that suppose his house is sitting in front of a mountain range, or it could be sitting. We could use the tree again as an example. Anything that would be pointing behind it. What we'd want to avoid, say if it's a mountain range, we want to avoid placing the apex of that mountain range right over that chimney, because the chimney points right straight up to it. That too creates a discomfort, kind of feeling of shock. Something's not quite right. Better to pull the mountain range or place the mountain so that it's elsewhere. And you could pull it right over here, much better. You could even pull it over here, much better. The other thing you want to avoid about that chimney, or any vertical that's pointing upward, you don't want another vertical to be aligned behind it. So say there is a hill back here, blah, 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 and Snuffy's sheep are back there, and their fence. There's a fence, and suppose you stick a fence post right up here. You've got another tangent. You don't want this vertical leading through that vertical. It just creates that, what I call the split apex. So there's a second example of what we might call a shocking shape, a way of placing two images together so they just don't belong, so that they create a discomfort in the viewer's perception. And then there's a third one, and that is when I call this one the stolen edge, where one shape actually steals the edge of another. And we can go back to the mountain range again. Suppose, let's think of the mountain range, and so I'm just placing the mountain range like here, and I'll pick it up right here. Now you see what I'm talking about. We have the edge of this shape aligned with the edge of that shape. Another tangent. This shape robs that shape. They merge together. They don't feel right. So that is another thing we really need to watch for. So how do we correct that? Well, we could correct it one of two ways. We could allow this shape simply to go behind that shape. There we go, right there. Feel an overlap. Or we could have it go behind the shape right here and feel an overlap. There are always ways that you can rearrange the placement of shapes so that these things don't happen. So we could have the mountain range going here, coming right here. There we go. Creates a slightly different perception, but it doesn't rob the edge. It doesn't steal the edge there of that shape. Now this is just three. I'll be doing more of these shocking shape tutorials or quick tips for you, but these are three for you to watch out for. And if you found this quick tip helpful, you might go check out our full-length video tutorials found at DianneMizeStudio.com, and you might find something there that can open up a whole world of painting for you. And there's your quick tip.